thought I'd crumble, didn't you? Thought the cracks would run so deep, I'd fall apart like brittle stone. That's the problem with you. You see a fracture and think it's the end. You see weakness and you run. I see it, and I carve it deeper. I break it wide open until all the ugliness spills out. Because that's the truth of it. Every scar, every wound, it's just another mark of survival. And I wear them like a crown. You don't get it, do you? You've lived too soft, too afraid of what it means to stand alone. You've let the world spoon-feed you lies about comfort and safety, about a life without risk, without pain. But when you've seen what I've seen, when you've felt the ice in your bones and the weight of the mountain crushing down on you, you learn that there's no room for weakness. There's no room for mercy. They thought I'd break when they buried me here, left me for dead in the cold, hard stone. They thought this mountain would be my tomb, but they didn't know me. They didn't know what I was made of. I'm not just stone. I'm the damn mountain itself. I didn't die. I became something else. Something colder. Something unyielding. I've seen what happens when you let the world tell you who you are. You become a shadow of yourself. You listen to the whispers of those who doubt you, and they start to seep into your bones, weaken your resolve. But me, I've silenced those whispers with my own roar. I've drowned them out with the sound of my own heart beating, steady as a war drum. You're standing here now, looking up at me, like you want something. You want the strength I have. You want the power that comes from being unbreakable. But you don't get it just by asking. You have to earn it. You have to bleed for it. Every ounce of power I have, I tore it from the jaws of defeat. I've tasted the dirt of this earth. I've felt the bite of the wind as it tried to strip the flesh from my bones. And I'm still here. Do you even know what that's like? To face the void, to stand on the edge and not flinch. You talk about pain like it's something you want to avoid. But pain is the only thing that's real. It's the one thing that doesn't lie. It's the fire that burns away the lies, the illusions. Pain is what shapes you, molds you into something harder, something stronger. When they see me now, they think I've changed. They whisper that I've become something monstrous. And maybe they're right. Maybe I have. But it's the monster that survives. It's the beast that crawls out of the pit when the dust settles. The hero falls. The monster endures. You want me to show you how to be strong. Then stop looking for comfort. Stop looking for someone to save you. No one's coming. There's no one out there who gives a damn if you make it or not. It's you against the world. And the sooner you understand that, the better off you'll be. I was like you once. I had hope. I shattered them right in front of me. I let it break me for a moment, but only a moment, because that's all it was, a moment. The kind of moment that tests you, that asks what you're really made of. And when I answered, I did it with a roar that shook the very stone beneath me. You're looking for a way out of the pain, but there is no way out. The only way is through. Through every trial, every scar, every betrayal. Let them break you down. Let them see what they've done. And then you rise. Not as the person you were, but as something else. Something they can't even recognize. They left me here because they thought I'd fade away, become a ghost, a forgotten king on a forgotten mountain. But I didn't fade. I became the storm that howls through these peaks. I became the avalanche that buries everything in its path. I didn't break. I turned into a force of nature. And you've got a choice. You can stand there, shaking, with your hands outstretched, begging for mercy. Or you can make a fist and take what's yours. You can crumble like the weak, or you can become like me. Cold, ruthless, unbreakable. You thought I'd break? Watch me destroy everything instead. I'll raise it all to the ground before I ever let them see me falter. I'll bring down the sky, tear open the earth, bury them in the rubble. I am the Mountain King, and I do not fall. You've got a lot of fire in you, I can see it. But fire burns out if it's not fed. You've been feeding yours with all the wrong things. Fear, doubt, hesitation. You need to feed it with rage, with purpose. You need to take that pain you're feeling and turn it into a weapon. Wield it like a sword. Let it carve a path through everything in your way. You think you've seen everything? You think the pain you've carried is the worst it could get? Let me tell you something. It's only the beginning. The world doesn't care about your pain. It doesn't care about what you've been through. It doesn't care about the nights you spent with tears in your eyes, choking on regret and anger. The world is merciless. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can stop waiting for sympathy that will never come. You want to know what happens to the people who wait for life to be fair? They rot. They sit there, wasting away, hoping for someone to come along and make things right. But no one comes. No one fixes anything. Because fairness is a lie. A story they tell to the weak to keep them docile. And I don't do docile. I don't do waiting. I don't sit back and hope the universe will align in my favor. I make it happen. I bend it to my will. Or I burn it down and build something new from the ashes. You've been sitting in your misery too long, letting it weigh you down, letting it convince you that you're not enough. You've let your pain become a chain, dragging behind you with every step. But pain isn't a chain. Pain is a weapon. Pain is the hammer that shapes the steel. If you wield it right, it can make you unstoppable. But if you let it control you, let it pull you under, it'll destroy you. Do you know what I see when I look at you? I see someone who's halfway there. Someone who's standing on the edge, too afraid to take the next step. You're angry. You're hurt. But you're still holding back. You're afraid of what happens if you let go. Afraid of what you'll become if you let the fire consume you. But that's the thing about fire. It doesn't destroy you if you embrace it. It purifies you. It burns away the weakness, the fear, the doubt, until all that's left is the steel underneath. You thought I'd break. You thought the fire would burn me down to nothing. No. It forged me. It turned me into something they couldn't control, couldn't stop. They wanted to snuff me out, to bury the flames under the weight of their lies, their betrayal. But I didn't let them. I took that fire, and I turned it into an inferno. And you're still sitting there, clutching the embers of your anger like there's something to be ashamed of. Stop that. Stop holding yourself back. Let it out. Let it consume you. Take that pain, that anger, and turn it into fuel. Let it drive you forward. Push you harder than you've ever been pushed before. Do you think I wanted to become this? Do you think I chose to stand alone? To carry this weight on my shoulders? No. I didn't choose this. It was forced on me. Life stripped everything away, left me with nothing but my will to survive. And that's when I realized that will was enough. It was more than enough. It was everything. They'll call you ruthless. They'll say you've changed, that you've lost your heart. Let them. Their words are just noise. You don't need their approval. You don't need their acceptance. All you need is the fire inside you. The unbreakable will to keep moving forward, no matter what stands in your way. I've been through hell. I've felt the weight of betrayal, the sting of abandonment. I've seen the faces of those who turned their backs on me when I needed them the most. And I'll tell you this. It doesn't matter. Their loyalty was never mine to count on. Their love was never mine to hold. The only loyalty you can rely on is your own. The only strength you can trust is the strength you build within yourself. You're standing here now, thinking about everything you've lost. Everything that's been taken from you. Good. Hold on to that feeling. Let it remind you of what you're fighting for. Let it remind you that the world doesn't hand out second chances. You have to take them. You have to fight for them. And if you fall, you get back up and fight again. Because giving up isn't an option. Not for people like us. They'll try to knock you down. They'll throw everything they have at you, hoping to see you break. But you don't break. You don't shatter. You stand tall, like the mountain. You let their blows bounce off you. Let their words wash over you like the wind. And when they see that you're still standing, when they realize they can't touch you, that's when you've won. You thought I'd break? No. I'm the one who breaks others. Now. I'm the one who turns their doubts into silence, their arrogance into fear. I've become everything they said I couldn't be. I've become more. And you can too, if you're willing to fight for it. Stop hesitating. Stop doubting. Stop letting the world dictate who you are. Take control. Be the fire. Be the storm. Be the mountain. And when they see you standing there, unbroken, unyielding, they'll know they made a mistake. They'll know they underestimated you. And they'll regret it. This is your moment. This is your chance to prove them wrong. To show them what you're made of. Don't waste it. Don't let it slip away. Take it. Own it. And never look back. You thought I'd break? No. Watch me rise. Watch me destroy everything they built to hold me down. Watch me turn their doubts into nothing but whispers in the wind. I am the Mountain King, and I do not fall. I've walked through the fire. I've been tempered by it. And now I stand here, unyielding, because I chose to embrace it. I chose to become something more than the sum of my scars. You can do the same. But only if you stop letting the world dictate your worth. No more excuses. No more waiting for the right moment. The right moment is now. The right moment is when you decide it is. Stand up. Look me in the eye and tell me you're ready to fight. Tell me you're ready to bleed. Because that's what it's going to take. Nothing less. And if you're not willing to give it, then step aside and let someone else take your place. But if you are, if you're ready to face the darkness, to claw your way through every obstacle, then welcome to the fight. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be kind. But if you survive, you'll come out the other side like me. Hardened, unbreakable, a king in your own right. So what's it gonna be? Will you shatter under the pressure, or will you rise from it? force to be reckoned with. The choice is yours, but remember this. When the storm comes, it doesn't care who you were. It only cares if you're strong enough to withstand it. You thought I'd break. You haven't seen anything yet. Watch as I take this broken world and turn it into my kingdom. Watch as I destroy everything they built to hold me down. This isn't the end. This is just the beginning. You're still here? Good. Maybe there's hope for you yet. But don't mistake standing in front of me as strength. Standing here is just the beginning. It's the silence before the storm. It's when the air is thick and heavy, and you can feel the weight of the world pressing down on your chest. Most people can't take it. They think they want this life, want this power, but when they feel the pressure, they crumble. They run back to their comfortable little holes, afraid to face what's coming. But you don't get to run. Not anymore. You wanted this. Wanted the truth. Wanted to know what it takes to be unbreakable. So here it is. You have to be willing to lose everything. You have to look at the ashes of your old life and laugh. Because the man you were before, he's dead. He died the moment you decided to stand up and fight. There's no going back to who you were. There's only forward. Only the next step into the darkness. You want to know why they left me here? Why they chose this mountain as my grave? Because they were afraid. Afraid of what I'd become. They saw it in my eyes. The rage, the coldness. They knew I wasn't like them anymore. They couldn't control me. Couldn't break me like they did the others. So they tried to bury me instead. But they forgot one thing. You can't bury something that's already part of the earth. They thought they were sealing me away, but all they did was give me more ground to stand on, more stone to shape with my own hands. You think you've been betrayed? You think you've faced hardship? You don't even know what betrayal feels like until you've had the knife twisted in your back by the very people you fought for. They call it loyalty until it's inconvenient for them. They call it friendship until you're no longer useful. But I learned early on that loyalty is just a word they use to manipulate the strong. It's a chain they put around your neck, hoping you'll stay tethered. But I broke that chain. I ripped it off and used it to drag myself out of the pit they left me in. You want to be strong? Then learn this. There's no such thing as fair. The world doesn't care about your sense of justice, your idea of what's right and wrong. It only cares about power. who has it and who doesn't. And if you don't have it, you're nothing but prey. They'll chew you up and spit you out without a second thought. You can either accept that and become one of the weak, or you can take the pain, take the scars, and use them to sharpen your teeth. I can see it in your eyes. You've got fight left in you. You're angry. Good. Anger is a start, but it's not enough. Anger fades. It burns out if you don't feed it with something stronger. You need purpose. You need a reason to get up every time you're knocked down. And it can't be something flimsy, something that wavers when the storm hits. It has to be rooted deep, like the roots of this mountain, unshakable, indestructible. Let me tell you something about pain. Real pain isn't the cut of a blade or the snap of a bone. It's the silence after everyone has turned their back on you. It's the echo of your own voice when you're left to talk to nothing but shadows. It's the moment you realize you're truly alone, that no one's coming to save you. That's the kind of pain that changes you. That's the kind of pain that forges kings. I was forged in that silence. I sat here in the dark, listening to the wind howl, feeling the stone beneath my skin, until the cold became a part of me, until I stopped feeling anything but the beat of my own heart. That's when I knew I wasn't going to die here. I wasn't going to let them write the story of my end. I was going to write it myself, carve it into the stone with my own blood if I had to. You've got a choice to make now. It's the same choice I had to make. Stay here in the cold. Let it consume you. Or take the first step into the unknown. Step into the storm and let it tear you apart, knowing that when it's done, when the wind finally dies down, you'll still be standing. Because that's what it takes. That's what it means to be unbreakable. They look at me now, and they see a monster. They see something they can't control, something they can't understand. But that's fine. Let them call me a monster. Let them whisper about the Mountain King who lost his soul. They don't understand that I gave up my soul willingly, traded it for something far more valuable. Power. The kind of power that doesn't fade, that doesn't waver in the face of fear. I've faced the worst this world has to offer. I've walked through the fires of betrayal, waded through the blood of friends and enemies alike, and I came out the other side harder, colder, stronger. If you want to survive, if you want to become more than just another casualty, then you need to do the same. You need to embrace the darkness. Let it fill you. Let it become the iron in your of blood. You thought I'd break? You thought you'd see me on my knees begging for mercy? You don't understand who you're dealing with. I don't kneel. I don't bow. I don't break. I rise. I conquer. I destroy. I've become the very thing they feared I'd become. A force of nature. Unstoppable. Unyielding. I am the storm that buries everything in its path. And if you want to stand by my side, if you want to walk this path, then you need to shed your old skin. Leave behind the weak, the scared, the unsure. Become like the mountain, solid, unmovable. When the time comes, capable of crushing anything that dares to stand in your way. This isn't a game. This isn't a fairy tale with a happy ending. This is the real world, and it's unforgiving. It doesn't care about your dreams, your hopes. It only cares about your strength. So show me your strength. Show me that you're not just another fool crying about how unfair life is. Show me that you can take the hit and come back swinging harder. Because if you can't, if you're not ready to give everything, then step aside, because I will, and I'll tear down anyone who stands in my way. You thought I'd break? Watch me. Watch me destroy everything they built to keep me down. Watch me turn their walls to dust, their chains to ashes. I am the Mountain King, and I do not fall. I rise, I conquer, and when I'm done, there won't be anything left but the echo of my name, carved into the very stone they tried to bury me under. You thought I'd break. You really thought the pressure would be too much, that I'd shatter like a brittle stone under the weight of it all. That's the mistake everyone makes. They see the surface cracks and think that's where the strength ends. They look at the scars, the jagged lines running deep, and they see weakness. But those lines, those fractures, they're not signs of breaking. They're the marks of something forged. Something reforged 100 times over in the fires of agony. They're the proof that I've survived. That I've come back from the brink more times than they can count. You think I'm harsh? You think my words cut deep? Good. Let them cut. Let them carve you open until there's nothing left but the raw truth. Because out there, in the real world, no one's gonna coddle you. No one's gonna hold your hand and tell you everything's going to be okay. They'll smile to your face, then turn around and sink a knife into your back the moment you show a hint of weakness. That's the truth. That's the reality they don't want you to see. They'll sell you lies, wrap them up in pretty words, tell you that life is fair, that if you just work hard enough, things will go your way. But that's not how it works. Hard work doesn't guarantee anything. It's the hard truth. They don't teach you because they're too busy feeding you the same poison they swallowed. Hard work can break you if you don't have the spine to back it up. If you don't have the will to dig your heels in when the ground starts crumbling beneath you. Do you think I got here by playing it safe? By following the rules? By taking what I was given and accepting it with a smile? I clawed my way to the top, left a trail of blood and broken bones behind me. I didn't wait for the world to give me a place. I took it. I carved it out of the stone with my own hands, and I didn't stop until I was standing at the peak. And even then, I didn't rest. I looked down at everything beneath me, and I knew it wasn't enough. Because it never is. Not for people like me. Not for people who know what it feels like to have nothing and still have to find a way to keep going. You want my advice? Stop listening to the people who tell you to be patient. Stop listening to the voices that tell you to wait your turn. There is no turn. There's no line you can wait in where your name gets called. And suddenly, you've made it. You take what you can when you can. And you fight for every scrap. Because out here in the cold, no one cares if you're tired, if you're broken. They only care if you can stand back up, if you can keep fighting. Look at me. Look at the scars, the lines etched into my face, the calluses on my hands. Do you think these came from sitting around, from hoping things would change? They came from the fight. They came from the struggle, from the pain I embraced instead of running from. I learned to love the pain because it meant I was still alive. It meant I was still in the game. It meant I hadn't been beaten yet. I've had every bone in my body broken. I've had blood in my mouth more times than I can count. And each time I spat it out, smiled through the crimson, and got back up. Because I knew that if I stayed down, they'd win. The ones who doubted me, the ones who wanted to see me fail, they'd get to smile, get to laugh, get to say they were right, and I'll be damned if I give them that satisfaction. They don't get to win. Not over me. Not over someone who's bled for every inch, who's faced the darkness and didn't flinch. You don't get to take what's mine. You don't get to take my pride, my strength. I earned it, and I'll defend it with everything I've got. You thought I'd break? You thought you could watch me fall apart, that I'd beg for mercy, that I'd plead for a way out. I don't beg. I don't plead. I demand. I command. And if you don't give me what I want, I take it. That's the difference between me and everyone else. They wait for permission. I don't. You're still standing there, listening. Maybe you're starting to understand. Maybe you're starting to feel it. The shift. The weight of what I'm saying. It's heavy, isn't it? It feels like the whole world is pressing down on your shoulders. That's the weight of expectation. That's the burden of knowing what's really out there beyond the lies, beyond the comfort. It's the weight of knowing you're on your own, that you have to find your own strength, or be crushed under the weight of everything you'll face. And I can see it in your eyes. You're tired. You're hurt. You're thinking about everything you've lost. Everything that's been taken from you. Good. Let it sink in. Let it fill you up. Because that pain is yours. It's your birthright. It's the fire you need to forge yourself into something stronger. Don't push it away. Don't hide from it. Embrace it. Make it a part of you. When they see you next, let them see the change. Let them see the cold in your eyes, the unbreakable steel in your voice. Let them know that you're not the same person they left in the dirt. Let them feel the weight of your presence, the force of your resolve. And if they dare stand in your way, if they think they can hold you down again, show them what you've become. Show them the monster they created. Show them the Mountain King. You thought I'd break? No. I'm the one who does the breaking now. I'm the one who shatters everything they hold dear. Who grinds their hopes into dust. And when it's all over, when there's nothing left but rubble and silence, they'll finally realize their mistake. They tried to bury me, but I became the mountain.